Alrighty guys, welcome back to Balake's Fish Room. So today I've got a really cool little update for you. I thought I've started to actually focus a little bit more on the breeding and spawning of fish and actually raising fry and everything. So in that, I do have a few little updates for you. So today we're mainly going to focus on the babies. So I wanted to start in front of this tank today because we've had a really cool development in the last couple of days. So this is that big male and female that I was showing you in that last video, and you can kind of see where classically they usually have this really deep dark maroon color, and then the male and the female that you can see here, they've lost a lot of that maroon color and they've gone kind of a pale pinky maroon. So pretty much this is actually the spawning dress. So you can see most of the fish in this aquarium, they're all up this end of the tank. That's because these guys are being very aggressive and territorial because, and I'll see if we can actually get a shot in there. Now, see all the white things? So I'm not 100% sure if they're fertilized or not, or if half are. From where I'm standing, I can see some of them are fertilized or some of them aren't white, and then the rest are white. So I'm not sure how many of those are fertilized, but I don't really mind. It's a pretty big step to actually get these guys to pair up, and it's the male and the female that I wanted to pair up. So I'm really happy about that. So I guess I can introduce these guys' names now. So once a pair of marbled fens had paired up, I thought, all right, I'm gonna announce the name that I'd thought of them. So I don't know if you guys know this, but the kids movie Peter Pan, so the guy, the old man that lost his marbles, so his name was something, but anyway, he was one of the lost boys that got lost with Peter Pan, and his name was Tootles, Tootles. So I thought that would be the perfect name for the big male. So this guy, his name is Tootles. And then in the same theme as Peter Pan, I'm gonna name this one Tink for Tinkerbell. So we got Tootles and Tink, and they're on their first batch of eggs together. So we'll see what happens over the next few days. They might hatch, they might not. I'm not too fussed about that because I think once you get them going, they'll spawn pretty often. So I'm probably going to end up having to move on a few of these other marbled fens. Some of them, they're just too many fish for one aquarium, and I'm constantly having to do extra water changes on this tank rather than just sitting back and relaxing. So now that I've got them to spawn, now that they've spawned, I think, yeah, the main focus now is sell off a few of these ones, see if I can get another pair out of these ones. But yeah, other than that, I'm pretty happy. This is the kind of pair that I was after, with less of the white on there and more of the maroons and the marbling, the blues and all that kind of stuff, the darker colors, and a little bit of white. So we'll see if these hatch, but yeah. Anyway guys, that's probably enough for the marbled Fenestratus, but really keen to see how all that goes, and let's move on to the next tank. Okay, so we're in front of the tank that's underneath the Feste. So this is the male Salvini, Rio Candelaria. I think they're Rio Candelaria. That's what they were sold to me as. If not, they're just the classic Salvini. But this is the male here. He's actually quite big for what Salvini are. He's about 5 inches and quite thick as well. So he'd be a few years old, I think. Really nice fish. I love these fish when they're in their spawning dress. The males just get really defined markings and quite a nice color, but more of a blue undertone. So you look at him and then you compare it to the female, who is just, so yellow, and she's got these jet black stripes on her. She's got all this red that's down her side. So I've seen a lot nicer females in terms of all that red that's appearing, but I don't know if more of that comes with age or what. This is the first time, well, not the first time, but the first time I've actually spawned Salvini. I have kept them before. but they've got a little batch of wrigglers in here in this little cave. It's only little because I've taken most of their babies. So this is the second out of 3 fish that have spawned for me. So I'll show the other pair, and then we'll jump over to the fry. Alrighty guys, so this is the black nasty pair. So there is a trio in here. So we've got this male and female, and then down here in this pipe we've also got this female. So she laid a batch of eggs last week, but either she ate them or the male ate them, I'm not sure, but no one's really been paying attention to her lately, so she's been kind of by herself down that end, which is okay. But I just don't want her to be attacked or hurt while these other fish have some spawn. So I pulled about half of the fry from the black nasties because I still wanted to see how far they would take their batch of fry, see how long they would keep them alive. And we're currently, I think we're on day 5 since they became free swimming, so they're doing pretty well. So almost a week. These guys, they're a lot more relaxed and calm and chill than any other fish that have spawned for some reason, and that might just be these individual fish, but they're really calm towards each other. When they were spawning, there was no aggression towards each other. They were both hanging in the pot and just doing their thing. And even now, while they're taking care of the fry, there's just no aggression. They're just hanging out together. There's heaps of fry that are swimming around. I reckon there's still about 100 or so in there. So I have been feeding them that little powder that I showed you in the last video. But yeah, these guys are going really well. We'll see how long the fry actually last in here. If they get established enough, there's so much coverage in this rock formation that we're looking at now. They can just get in and hide and dart around. So it'll be interesting to see if we get any actually survive in the tank, which would be really cool. I like doing that because if they survive in the tank with the parents and they get to, adolescence, an inch in length or something like that, that shows that they're, top tier, the strongest of the bunch. And that if you take that fish and then breed that, it's the best breeding stock that you could have because it survived an enclosed environment with a predator. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show on these guys. They're looking absolutely fantastic. I haven't really set on any names just yet for these guys, but we'll come back in a later video, and I'm sure I would have thought of something. If you've got a recommendation for names for the black nasties, leave them in the comment section below. But now let's have a look at the babies. All right, so we've got the Feste tank on the back here. We've got the frog terrarium. So I'll give you a little look at the frogs if you want. There's one of the big guys there. There's another one just down here on the log. And there's another couple in there. So I just dropped some cockroaches or some crickets or something in there and it feeds them. So the glass is really dirty, so let's not focus on that. So over here is where I've got most of the fry at the moment. So I don't know if I've shown this in the last video, but what I've done is, what are these guys doing? They're going crazy. So I've got the old sump filter from the massive tank that's inside, and I've just put a bit of foam in these sections, and I've run a small pump that pumps up the water through this hose, takes it down there, and it just trickles down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and just acts as a sump filter without the tank on the top. So basically doing this, I've been able to create these 3 sections into fry tanks. So I'll show you the first ones that we pulled, well, second I guess. So we've got a bunch of these black nasties in here. So I'd say there's anywhere between 80 to 100 black nasty fry that are in here. So they've got the actual sponge filter in there because there's a lot of nutrients and stuff that's all growing on the sponge filter. So I've got that in there. And then today we actually pulled a bunch of the Salvini fry. So if I get down here, every single one of these little dots is a fish. So I think I pulled close between 300 to 400 Salvini fry. There's some that on the ground, there's some that are kind of up here or back there. Like, there is a lot of Salvini fry. So we will see what happens there. That's probably the biggest batch of fry I've actually pulled from anything, so I didn't expect that from the Salvini. But yeah, they're going well. They've only been in there for what, 5-6 hours. So they're still at wriggler stage, not really free swimming, whereas the black nasties are. And you can see that piece of foam that's in there, it stops the fish from being able to go through into the next section. So hopefully this works as a good little fry grow out tank. And then we've got the heater up this end. We've got a massive bag of noodles, media just down in there. So there is plenty of filtration. I've got some of these ceramic tubes, which you can see there's a few in there. There's one in there, there's one in there. We've got the sponge filter. You know, I think it's a good little setup and a pretty good use of, you know, a sump filter that I don't use anymore. All right, so let's jump over to the last tank of fry and we'll wrap it up. Okay, so this tank is kind of crammed into a little section underneath the black nasties. So I've just got the sponge filter that comes down here. We've got a little heater. And then in here, we've got these guys, I'd say they're 1 month old now. So they're probably about 1/2 centimeter in length, maybe, I reckon they'd go close to 1 centimeter. But they've grown really quickly. These fish here are the first ones that I've taken really seriously with feeding a few times a day. I feed them the powder food that I've got, and I also feed them those baby brine shrimp. I've dropped some on the glass here and up here, so that's what it looks like. It's an orange little bundle of fun. But yeah, so there's probably about 100 black nasties in here as well, about 1 centimeter in length, like I said. I'll be getting these guys into a bigger tank probably once they hit, you know, 2 centimeters, maybe 3 centimeters. No, 2 centimeters. I'll get them into a much bigger aquarium. Then they can properly grow out in there, and then once they get up to, you know, probably close to 2 inches, that's when I'm kind of thinking I will sell these guys. Just because I want to sell the nasties at a decent size. If I end up selling them to a shop or something around here, I want people to be able to get you know, a bigger nasty rather than a smaller one. I think that'd be really cool. So yeah. All right, guys. I reckon let's close it out there. Got the Trimax down there doing really well. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions or any comments or suggestions for what I'm doing, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. But other than that, I will see you in the next one.